positive charge.
You know the quickest way to recognize
Cations
the
have a
cation?
positive charge.
They all end in the suffix IUM. Potassium, calcium, sodium, magnesium. These are all electrolytes that have a positive charge.
Oh.
Now, if you look at anions, if cations had a positive charge, anions had a
Negative
charge. These are things like chloride, bicarbonate, phosphate. These are all going to be these negatively charged ions. So no matter what you have in your body, you have some that are electrolyte sources, either cation or anion, and you have some non-electrolyte sources like glucose, fatty acids, waste products, things like that. She talked a little bit about fluids. We should all be familiar with that. Fluids are balanced by osmosis. Osmosis is the movement of water. The way I remember this is, if you get a bottle of Dasani water, and you look on the back, what does it say? It says, purified by reverse osmosis. Surely don't know what that means, but it's got to be about something with water. Then the movement of particles. The movement of particles is called
diffusion.
Diffusion, correct. So osmosis is the movement of water. So if you have two body cells, right? There's a body cell here.
I don't know what country.
It's not much good. Mr. Carter, there's a body cell here, body cell there. This one has 3 water molecules. This one has 5 water molecules. This is not homeostasis. Your body maintains homeostasis by osmosis, where 1 water molecule goes across that membrane. So now, what do you have? You have 4 on this side, 4 on this side. Everybody's happy. It's homeostasis. If this happens with water, we call it osmosis. If this happens with particles, we call it diffusion. It always goes from higher to lower to maintain homeostasis. In the event that it goes from lower to higher, it requires energy, and we really aren't talking about that in this class.
Active transport.
Right now, exactly. Active transport and facilitate diffusion, things like that come into play. And they got all that. We all know that baroreceptors, they measure what?
Pressure.
Got that one. Dehydration being water loss. Water intoxication. She kind of talked about this a little bit. Let's clear that up real quick. So, basically, she used the example of people drinking water. Okay, if you remember, about 15-ish years ago, there was a competition at the Greenspoint Mall. Who can drink the most water the fastest gets a free card. This lady, she chugs 4 or 5 gallons in about a minute. I won, and falls over dead. Why does she fall over dead? Well, because she depleted her electrolytes. The easy way to remember this is, anytime your body uses electricity, it must also use an electrolyte. So what does that mean? Your heart needs electricity. Your brain needs electricity. Your muscles and nerves need electricity. So if you dilute those different electrolytes down to almost 0, what can no longer work? Electricity. So if you drink too much water, you dilute those electrolytes, you no longer have electricity and you die. The same thing happens if you have too much. If I was drinking Gatorade all day long and I didn't exert myself, what happens? I have too many what? Electrolytes. So it doesn't work right. It doesn't work right. So you have to have this constant balance. If you don't have this constant balance of special things like sodium and potassium particularly, it can have a lot of problems. Calcium is another one. And too much calcium, like she said, can cause a lot of heart problems and a lot of other issues that you really don't want to happen. Making sure it's going through here, make sure we didn't miss anything. Sodium, chloride. Chloride is a anion because there's a negative charge, right? Potassium is a positive. Calcium is a magnesium is a right, but phosphate is a negative, right? Why? Because it doesn't end in IUM. Little trick there. I think that's pretty much it. I don't think that we went over anything else too much. As far as the different buffer systems, that's something I'm going to have to commit to memory as well. Protein buffer system, phosphate buffer system. We'll learn that in time. I'm not too worried about that. By Tuesday? You have a week? What's wrong with you? You don't get it? Anyhow, and just remember one of the things that is a really common misconception, diuretics remove water, anti-diuretics keep water there. Exactly. So, she used congestive heart failure. If I have congestive heart failure, what happens? Too much fluid. And what happens is your heart doesn't work right. Fluid flows back to where it came from. So if I have too much fluid and I have congestive heart failure, you can't really give me a new heart. The best way to fix that is?
Get the water off.
Diuretics, exactly. Thanks a lot. I'll see you next week.